Hello everybody and welcome along to episode 114 of the Hunger for the Hustle podcast. Something a little bit different on the show today. About 6 weeks ago, was it, Froggy? Six weeks ago.
March.
By the way, welcome Froggy to the show.
How are we doing?
Good to have you here, mate.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Since the first time I met you, actually, 6 weeks ago, in this very kitchen. You might hear a little bit of a pitter-patter on the floor, guys, because we're in a kitchen and that's real life. And there's some dogs with us, which is great. 6 weeks ago, I came to visit my cousin Bethan in Ashbourne, Derbyshire, and very quickly they told me about the game of Shrovetide. I'm pointing to these photos here because they are of Shrovetide football, and they had the ball in the house, and I was like, what is this about? It was bigger than my head. I'd kind of heard of it. Shrovetide football had been going on for like 900 years, and I found out it was on the next week. And me being me, had to come back and get the full experience of it.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of timed it pretty well.
I timed it perfectly, I think.
Perfectly, yeah.
So what is Shrovetide for a lot of people watching? To me, I'll explain what I think, and then you do a better job. Because, I mean, Froggy has been playing it passionately, dedicated since, I mean, as old as you were pretty much allowed to,
14, 15.
14, 15, yeah. We won't tell them how old you are now, but that's a long time ago. So I think my kind of view on it is, I know it's a 900-year-old game of football, essentially, that there's two sides of almost unlimited numbers. The goals are 3 miles apart, and it's what's regarded by many people throughout the UK as the kind of birthplace of modern football.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's not like any sport you'll ever get. It's one of a kind. Shrovetide is essentially one massive hug with one ball, and it's just, back and forth. It dates back to the 1600s. I know there was Edward's Wales, Edward VIII, I think he gave it its name as a Royal Shrovetide football. Because it was like a big thing. He threw it up in, I think it was 1928.
Oh, really? He threw it up?
Yeah, he threw it up. So that's where it's got its royal name from.
Got you.
From then, like you say, you've got two teams, upards, downards. That decides on the River Henmore, which side you're born on. If you're south, you're a downard. If you're north, you're an upard.
Okay.
And generally, that's how it went back then. Nowadays, you get your friends will pick whatever they pick, or the family, or the but yeah, it's two teams pushing a big level ball, one to each goal, and they want to tap it 3 times.
But it's like nothing gets in the way of it, does it?
No.
Barbed wire fences, I experience this. Barbed wire fences, farmlands. I mean, they do try, and we'll get into the rules because there are some rules, or there's kind of no rules, but there's some. Respectfully,
there's a few rules.
I think over the 900 years, there's some that's developed in modern society just to keep things a bit more respectable.
Definitely, yeah.
But any kind of nothing really gets in the way of it, No. And you certainly don't want your vehicle or property to get in the way of it, because there's thousands of people behind it and you really can't stop them.
You try and make sure everyone knows. Well, everyone knows when it's on anyway. Everyone. So if the car is there, then it's there.
Because it shuts the whole town down,
whole town.
I came, I think I came the day of it, and I was around in the morning, but you could see even the week before that people started preparing. Putting timbers up at the shops so no one could kind of crush into the shops.
It's like a calm before the storm.
It really is.
It's a quiet, eerie time weeks and weeks before.
It reminded me of like when you go to a town and they know a big storm's coming through, and they're like patting the hatches and get the sandbags up and get all the
getting the boards on,
and get all the glass protected.
It's quiet. It's very quiet. It is very quiet.
Yeah,
I think it's so tense in the air. You can just, it's the rivalry, and you can tell when it's ready.
So the rules, let's get into the rules. Or you tell me, you know the rules better than me.
Rules, not many. No churchyards, graveyards, and memorial gardens especially. And that's really, and you can't take a ball in a motorised vehicle or a car.
Okay. Yeah.
other than that, really, it's like a free for all.
But I thought it was no private property as well. Is that kind of?
It's difficult. We try and within you. Sometimes you're not going to know where the ball's going to go within the ball, so you could end up in someone's hedge and private property, and you try and work together in that situation, both upwards and downs, going, right, let's get it out of here. We can't have it in here. So 9 times out of 10, you'll sort of come to an agreement of getting it gone.
Yeah.
But some things can't be helped. It's straight up.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
But it's become like, I mean, well, we'll get back to what I was going to go is what it's kind of become and how important it is to the town, but I want to get into that later. Because as soon as it broke out of the main part and that pillar in the town, and that's why I thought it's like, there's an actual pillar built in the middle of Ashbourne
it's called the plinth.
Yeah, the plinth to throw the ball out of, which is like, it's, someone took the time and effort to develop that. But as soon as I saw it got thrown up, it went straight into someone's car park, like a private car park.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And I would not have wanted my car to be in there. Like, one of the cars actually moved about 10 feet, and I was like, I suppose when you get that many people around the car or pushing against it, things like that happen.
It was tough because you're sort of not wanting to cause any damage at all.
Of course not.
Because of the force of the teams pushing, something's going to move. And, everyone was gathered around his car and it was like, right, we can't stop pushing. But, there's so many people to keep telling that. And it's quite tough.
And people get excited,
Yeah, it was the first day, especially with COVID. It was the first Tuesday back.
Well, that's the thing. So how many years? Did it have 2 years break?
No, we luckily got it in just before COVID.
2020.
Yeah, we got it in
because it was like March. You kind of kicked off, and it's
we got it in. I think maybe a week, couple of weeks before.
But
so
still,
we were lucky
a
to
year off.
A year off was tough.
That the whole town prepares for and looks forward to. It's almost like Halloween and kind of Christmas on steroids.
Yeah,
in the way that the town prepares for it. In fact, it's more than that.
It's bigger than all that. It's bigger than Christmas. Massive.
It is, because so many people come together, and I thought there was a really good. I mean, it was the first time I'd been, but it felt like people were very hungry for it and had a need for it, because I think what's come out of the recent time is people have been disbanded in a lot of ways, and that was something that brings people together, and it's really important.
Going, like we say, we only missed 1 year, but you've got the year that it got played in 2020, so then you're waiting the rest of that year. So it really essentially was like 2 years.
Essentially, since it's been...
Yeah, so then you've missed the next year, so nearly 2 years, and then to get it on was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I can't believe it's going to be on. And to get that, the community was just, everyone come together.
The community is fantastic. I've never seen such a display of community driven towards one thing, actually, in one place, in such on such scale as well. No doubt there's a lot of people like myself, living in Australia, and I'm in Birmingham at the moment and came from there to it. But I don't think many people would, there's certainly not, it extends to further than Ashbourne, doesn't it? People
yeah, definitely.
And I think, sorry, go on.
No, people come from all around just to see it played. Whether they get
tourist event,
whether they get involved and they have a push, or they just come and have a good day watching it. It's very.
Now, no doubt though, sometimes people's property does get damaged, including some of those shops, and even like some of the guys that play as well. I was going to say just guys, but there were some girls out there.
Yeah, the girls get involved as well.
As well, no doubt. But so what happens in that situation? Because someone's obviously held liable, for the damage, or are they? Or
there is a Shrovetide committee, and we try and raise funds and make sure everything's sorted out and paid for and returned to how it was. If the fence gets broken on someone's property, well, the Shrovetide committee are brilliant. They'll certainly make sure that's done within the week after. And so everything that's been damaged is always
taken care of,
always
the week following.
And that's the reason why I think Shrovetide will keep going, because we know if there's damage caused, and we'll always go back. This has got to be sorted. That sort of stuff. No, it's brilliant what they do.
That's good. We'll get into the community aspect of it a bit more later. But let's pull back a bit. You say you're playing since you were 14, 15.
15 properly.
And how did that start for you? Did you have some family already doing it?
Well, my older brother, he started playing. He's 18 months older than me. So we're quite close. And he was sort of, come on. He was a year of that, and sort of going down, and it was sort of turning up with your mates when you're 14, and you're sort of there and thereabouts, but you're having a laugh. And then it was like, right, okay, I want to get involved in this, because this looks amazing, and your passion starts coming out. And from an early age, that was it. I always wanted to play Shrovetide every year.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I'd imagine anyone who grows up in the town is doing it. I can see though you'd have to get to an age where you can kind of hold your own, because there's some big blokes playing.
Oh yeah,
some big blokes. I got in there and had a bit of a go in the hug, and I was like, I'll be honest, man. At some points, I got pretty scared.
Yeah,
like
you're tall.
I'm tall. I'm tall, but I'm not that big. And there's some rugby player guys in there. There's some big guys.
Oh
in there. And I got involved. I wanted to touch the ball, but you get so, and I'm not. I guess if you're used to that kind of sport and that kind of people being on top of you and around you, you're kind of used to it. And for me, I was like, I could kind of get in and under there, but I'm not that sure. I don't think it's a good idea. And I think that might be the same kind of feeling you'd get as a youngster watching it. You're like, I'm hungry. I want to get involved. I want to get close. I want to do my part for my team, the upards of the downs. But I'm actually a little bit hesitant because the whole thing's quite overwhelming and scary when you.
It is quite scary. No matter what age you are, no one likes being pushed into a concrete wall or
it's never going to feel good.
Barbed wire or hedges. You don't like it, but at the time you don't really think about it.
No, because you're filled on adrenaline.
Yeah, you're filled on adrenaline. You're in the hug. You just go with it. If you get pushed back or push, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You're expected to get some war wounds.
Yeah, fair enough, and that's how you should. So, 14, 15 years old. Do you remember your first game you played?
Yeah, there was actually my first proper time was horrendous because I went in the hug, and this was on Shawcroft. I must have been 15, 16 at that. And the hug collapses quite a lot of times, and you go over.
How do you mean by collapses?
So, say for instance, you've got the core of the hug in the middle.
Yeah.
If you're getting pushed back and someone falls over, then it sort of has a knock-on effect.
Okay.
So then everyone goes over.
Yeah.
And I was unfortunately, I was at the bottom, and that was when I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting out and I was like 15, 16. I was done for most of that sort of day. I carried on a bit, but it's proper scared me. But it's Shrovetide. It's that's what I grew to love more and more every year. That you're gonna have these things.
Yeah, you're gonna have these. It's all part and parcel of it.
Yeah.
That
was tough. That was it. I remember that.
Yeah, I could imagine. It's never gonna be. You're never gonna get away from it without getting injured too badly. But I mean, I only got to spend one day at it of 2022. I almost forgot what year it is. This summer girl's strong. Yeah, I got to spend one day at it. But what I did find was quite respectful is when it, like any good sport where people are playing fairly, in the modern age at least anyway, if someone's hit the deck and someone's getting trampled down there, it's like, well, stop the game, let him up, let him up and let's start again.
It happens quite a lot. Yeah, of course. People are, it doesn't matter what side you're on, they are, right, someone's down here, we've got to get him up, get up. And the same thing happened to me, again, just gone. And this was in the rugby field, and I'd gone down, and some lad was over the top and goes, "Don't worry, I've got you, I'm holding my weight." Next minute, it was like ball, and that was another going back to when I was 15, 16. That was another scary part. And I'm 32, so it doesn't matter if you're down on that floor. It does scare you because you've got so many men on top of you. You're thinking, I can't breathe.
And you're like, can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Like, is anyone aware?
And you don't want to scream because you're losing your breath, so you can't breathe. You're like, oh, you just hold on and hope that the lads, and that's what they do. They get you up, they'll drag you up.
It's making me nervous thinking about it.
Yeah, it is. It is quite scary. Yeah. And the lads will get you up. Like, right, get up. It doesn't matter what team, they'll drag you up, and then you carry on the ball and you're going past it.
So it's like it's almost like a legacy thing, a family thing, right? If your brothers play or your cousins play, and you play as well, and that's a good thing. That's like, there's an expectation almost for you to play, but there's a want and a passion as well.
Yeah, the want and passion's got to be there. Yeah, and it should be there if you're from Ashbourne. I think it should be.
Be upsetting if it wasn't.
It's what I know it sounds silly, but within Ashbourne, it's kind of what you live for as well, because to have that every year, that privilege of playing in that game, that no one else really does at all.
No.
And to be in it is even better. Yeah. So it kind of
And are people from outside the town invited or welcome to play, or do you really like to keep it
Yeah, you kind of want it to be an Ashbourne game for Ashbourne people.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's a local game for local people.
Exactly. Below Nigel Brown, he knows it. And that essentially what it is. It's a game for Ashbourne people. But you can't stop people coming in and having a push. And people enjoy it and they come, as long as they're behaving in the right manner towards the game, then that's fair enough, because you're not going to stop people coming.
I was quite amazed, like, because I spent the whole day here watching it, and like the way that you've got, it's hard to say how many thousands of people were there. Like, there's probably it's fair to say 100 to 150 people in the hug.
Yeah,
it's like a hug is like a scrum in rugby, same kind of thing. For anyone who's wondering what a hug is,
like 100 times bigger,
but like 100 times bigger, yeah. But there was like a lot of how can I say? There's a lot of respect inside something that was completely organised chaos.
Yeah,
and I was but you could see that was a community thing, because although that everyone is here and they're on their side, when we get back to normal life in a couple of days' time, I know you and you know me, because you might be, my sister's partner, or you might be the butcher, or something like that. Like whatever it is, Ashbourne's a fairly small town, and everyone kind of knows everyone, and that's a cool thing to be a part of. And therefore, it's like, although I'd imagine it's a good day to settle some scores.
Oh yeah, there's always a punch. There's always a little bit of elbowing or grabbing, and that's where it is. I say there's not many rules, and if it is a case it gets a little bit hot-headed, let the shots go.
It's a good place to vent your frustrations and any things that's built up out throughout the year and that. So we've kind of covered like why it's important to you. It's a family thing. It's a passion of playing. It's a pride of playing of the community. But what do you think? It's evident to me that it's quite important to the community as well, because they put on, year on year. I mean, it's funny, you kind of can't really stop it in a way. It's like it's a beast that's bigger than the town, but it's important to the community, isn't it? And massively. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's been going for that long. It's sort of, like you say, it's tradition of the way the game is and how it's evolving. You've got charity events raising money for Shrovetide to keep the game alive, because it means so much to the community. Like you say, the community comes together, even all year. When it even not take out the 2 days, all year the community is still working to keep that game alive. And on the 2 days, like I say, the shops are boarded up. They respect that this is tradition and this is how it is. And you wouldn't, you've got marshals that are helping out on the day and taking their time out.
The volunteers.
The volunteers that do it because they love the game. They like seeing it carry on. So you've got that. You've got the ambulance crews that come out. Sometimes, I
remember speaking to them actually, St John's, and I said, like, if you had any major incidents, I was like, oh no, like a few sprains and stuff like that. It's generally, it's not really a violent thing,
No.
Although if you looked at it from the outside, you'd be like, what's going on here? These guys are just. I actually think, to be fair, if you looked at it from the outset and you didn't know there was a ball in the middle, you'd think it was just a huge fight.
Yeah,
it's fair to say that, isn't it?
Because 9 times out of 10, it's covered up in the middle, so you don't know where.
You never see it, and that's I think it goes. So, like, I noticed the best place to kind of keep on track of it was Twitter.
Yeah,
but it goes missing sometimes, doesn't it? And it went missing, and I think this will lead us quite well to because I still don't know who actually won 2022 Shrovetide. I've got a sneaky feeling by the smile on Froggy's face that it might have been his side, but I don't know. And the ball goes missing, doesn't it? And it did go missing this year.
I don't want to delve in too much because I don't want to give anything away because you don't know the result.
Okay, but the ball went missing, and then so I was with Bethany, who's my cousin, Froggy's partner. We were held up at the pub from about 7. I say held up like we would rob the place. We were just sat there, posted there, drinking quite happily from about 7 till, because the game starts. Is it 10 in the morning? It gets thrown up.
No, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2, and then it finishes at 10.
Way off.
No, but at 10 it finishes at 10.
So it starts at 2 in the afternoon. Ball gets thrown up. Finishes at 10. If there's a goal before 6, then it gets thrown up again. If it's after 6, rolls into the next day. Does roll into the next day anyway.
Yeah. So if it's not gold after 6, then that's just then the ball goes back to whoever threw it up.
Yeah.
And then they start again with a new ball on Wednesday.
Makes sense. So the ball, like sometimes the ball can disappear. When the ball disappeared, me and Bethan decided we were going to go and get a few drinks at the pub. Lovely little pub. Can't remember the name of it.
Cocking.
The Cocking.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
It's one of them pubs.
Well, it's Clifton. It's where the Holy Grail is for us.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, the goal for your team's around the corner. Yeah, we were posted up there. If you know, it's an old pub because it's one of well, it's a kind of like for me a lot, but you have to duck in. You'd have to do it to duck in to get in the door. Real good old pub. But then we caught on Twitter that they found the ball and it was on the way to the goal.
Yeah.
And me and Beth quickly got down to the goal, and I literally got on top of the goal, and got a video on top of the goal, square on top of it, where one of your guys, Nathan,
very lucky.
Scored.
You're very lucky.
Great, just like a great moment to be in that place. From not even knowing what it really was a week before to fast forward to being there as the goal, which drew the game at that point at just before 9 o'clock at night. It was about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And
it was a cold, pretty wet, boggy day. The ground was wet. Both the goals in the river.
Yeah.
So both the goals are in the river. Pretty bad days. Yeah. So I'm there on top of this stone where everyone's in the river, and you captured that goal, and that was really, I went to the bed that night, a couple of beers, and we were reasonably well excited. But what happened the next day, mate? Tell me.
So, do you want me to talk through the Tuesday?
Go for it all, because these guys who are watching might know any of it.
Yeah. So Tuesday, like I say, you were there, you saw it all. What happened? It was, like I said, thrown or it was sort of really tight straight away. But we got pushed back, into the fields, and we sort of got pushed back a lot.
It was a long way, wasn't it?
Yeah. They pushed us pretty well, and you can't knock that. Being uppers, you can't knock them. They did well, and we got about 3-4 fields away from their goal, and it was sort of that agreed that they would goal it because we wanted another ball up. So it was before 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So they goaled it. A lad
who conceded 1 goal about 6 o'clock.
A lad who I went to school with, Monty, great lad, fully deserved. He's deserved one for years.
Yeah.
So we go again, and then ball goes up. And it's same sort of again, and it was even. It felt like it was even harder just because you've already pushed as hard as you can, especially going backwards is even tougher. And then it did go missing.
Do you know where it went?
No, well, it was one of the lads, Nathan. He took it on the roof.
Right.
He just started sticking out, and it worked because then everyone was just dispersed. But he got found, and it's everyone sort of stemmed back into Ashbourne because people going left, right, centre.
Yeah,
no one, like you say, when
it
goes missing, you hear Chinese whispers. It's gone here, it's gone there.
And we were just like, there's a fake ball popped up. And it's
So anyway, it got sort of come back into town. It went to a place called the Magic Corner. Went up, and before you knew it, because we're in the hug, so you've got the runners that line out. Before you know it, the ball's broke. And it's gone down the line of downards, all the way down that road, and headed on to one of our good mates, Martin Taylor, who's a phenomenal runner, and he just bolted with it.
Right there, we should explain because I think people might get a bit confused. You've got the hug and the guys that play in the hug, and then you've got designated guys or girls who are runners who run with the ball.
Huggers and runners.
Yeah, and they do that because it's fast.
It's sort of self-explanatory. Huggers are the guys who are in the middle hugging it all day. The runners are there on the outskirts, ready to go.
So it broke to a runner.
It broke, and by that time we got ourselves to the goal. You get to the goal if you know it's gone, and people are like, "It's gone, he's got it." You get to the goal no matter how you can, a car or whatever. So you just jump in whoever's car, and you're going down. You get to, like I say, you were there then. We got into the water. There was a draw, and you saw Nathan goal it, and it was incredible to be 1-0 down so early on, to come back and have that bit of, it's 1-1.
Yeah.
And then the Wednesday.
Well, I mean, if you come back from the Wednesday, we'll get onto, but you missed a year. Who won? Who won 2020?
I can't remember now.
Wasn't it? I think it was upwards. I think it was upwards in 2020. They held the title, right?
Yeah, was it? I can't even remember
Oh,
because
the
it's been
boys-
that
The
long.
boys are going to dig into you for this one.
I know. I should even know this as well.
That's all good. I think it was upwards. I could be wrong, but anyway. So look, there's everything to play for from the start of every game, regardless of who's
We
won.
got a draw.
You got a draw.
We got a draw.
Then see, it was
We
stuck.
got a draw. I knew. I remember. I just.
But it was stuck in my mind that it was everything to play for from that draw. So that's why it was, because
we
was
got
a draw
a
the
draw.
year before,
It was a draw.
and then at the end of the first day it was a draw.
Yeah, because the Tuesday we lost the Tuesday ball 1-0 on the second. On Wednesday we got 1-1. So yeah.
And it was a real late goal. So
Glad I knew that. I was on the spot then.
He's off the hook. He's off the hook just about. So end of the first day, it's 1-1.
Yeah.
This is the point where I live, and I do
This
not
is-
know
this
what
is-
happened
this
after
is
this.
crazy. So Wednesday, same sort of thing happened.
By the way, I've avoided so many pieces of social media to make sure that I don't see the result. Of course, you can imagine whilst trying to research and put this together as well. It wasn't easy, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So Wednesday, same sort of thing. It was really tough, and the upards have got some big lads, and they were tearing into us, pulling us off, and we tried to stick it as hard as we could. It was in the river. It was back and forth, and it was sort of, is anything going to give here? And it went into the culvert where the river is, where the park is, and it was in and it was out, and it broke across the football pitch to the rugby pitches, and that's when, from an hugger's point of view, you're just looking at a long line of men and then running, and the ball's gone up this hill, and before you know it, someone's got it, and you don't know who's got it because you can't see who it is because you're that far away, and they've gone. And then all you're doing then is playing catch up. So it's heading towards Thurston. And got there and they goaled it straight away. It was it 4:30? So it was a really early goal. Mark Masnenko, another good friend, the upards, he broke with it, got an early goal. So you're trudging back at like 4:45.
Yeah, similar situation to the day before.
Yeah, similar. Trudging back and you're knackered from the day before.
For sure.
So you're thinking, right, okay, come on, we've got to get some energy from somewhere. You head back to the green man, you clap them in, and you go again. And that was then I was like, oh, we need to make sure we do not get dipped in this. Tight again, ball goes up. I remember it going, when it was on the Tuesday when I went to that car pod there, the car was there. Well, someone had lobbed it over there after the third ball got thrown up. It went straight into the Memorial Gardens. From there, it went into the rugby pitch. Right. So it was like, oh, this is happening again. But, which is, I don't think this has ever happened since I've played. Nigel Brown on the committee, he come over to us. We was at the hedge on the rugby field, and he says, no, we're taking it back to the plinth. And I was like, why? Well, it's coming to the Memorial Gardens. Some fair advantage.
Fair enough.
So
it got moved from there.
Because it's got moved and straight over the Memorial Gardens, which is given them a gain of plenty. Yeah. So he brought it back and it got thrown up again.
Yeah.
So
that's mad.
Yeah,
but fair.
Yeah, but fair, which was good. So chucked up again and it's going again, and you're trying to dig deep. Everyone's knackered. It's got to be 6:30, 7 at this point, I think, maybe, and it's going dark. So you're sort of trying to keep your wits about you. Right? Is someone going to bring it out? Is someone going to break? It ended up near the duck pond. Well, it went in the duck pond. It did go in the duck pond. It was passed. So tossed the bat, go to the post, and come out back and forth. And it ended up near the duck pond where this fence was, and there was a hook was there, and we was in sort of just on the outside, on the other side. And then he was like, "Oh, it's gone," and we was like, "What? What do you mean it's gone?"
But it can just go like it's amazing how it's a big ball as well. I'm talking about it. It's
medicine ball size.
Yeah, medicine ball size. Exactly right. It's but it's starting to get dark by this point. It's kind of easy for it.
Yeah. So and they're the perfect times to break and go with it. Yeah. So it broke. No one knew where it got, and someone thought, "Oh, it's gone in that house." Someone's took it in that house. Yeah, it's in that bin in the back of that garden. So at this point, we've gathered downards here and there. Groups of us are going round the duck pond, looking in hedges, looking in back gardens. Someone says it's got chucked in here in a plastic bag. And then you're like, "Oh, where is it?" And then before you know it, it must have been an hour and a half later. Because you're asking the marshals, like, they're on the radios, like, is anyone down at, because they've got people down at each goal.
Yeah.
So they'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Well, do you know anything? Well, I've heard it's here, I've heard it's there. And then we heard it got gold at Sturston again. And we was
What time is this?
What was it? Would it have been? I can't remember the time. I know Ben Wesson goaled it. Can't remember the time exactly. 8:30, 9:30, something like that. And yeah, we was like, no, it's not true. And then we were going out to the other groups. No, it's not been confirmed. So we were still like, has he been goaled or not? And yeah,
it had.
He was in the middle. He passed it out to his friend, and then he snuck off with it, and he got himself to the goal. And another reserve goal. And 3-1. It's hard to take. That was gutting. The only thing we could take out of that was we got a ball.
Yeah.
But well deserved to the uppers on that.
There you go.
They did.
So they're the reigning champions.
Yeah, so far for that year, this year.
It's like, I can tell how hard it is.
It's tough. It's tough.
It is, yeah.
But
the great thing about it is you always get another year.
Yeah.
And each team is only as good as the last year.
Yeah,
they really are.
There's a lot of things, They've got some big lads, and they're like tanks. They just keep going, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens every year, yeah. And so, when do you? Of course, there's a lot of strategy about it. There's a lot of secret meetings, and I'm not asking you to reveal strategies and stuff like that because
secret meetings. I don't know
what
you're on about. I ain't got a clue.
You told me there was a secret.
I never mentioned anything.
Okay, all right then.
No.
When do you start preparing for next year?
Preparing as soon as really. You like you say, going on the secret meetings.
Yeah.
Everyone knows now in this day and age that everyone has meetings.
Yeah.
It used to be like, oh God, they're having a meeting. Let's send someone to have a look at.
Right. Okay.
But now it's sort of upards and downards know when each of them's pretty much having a meeting.
Yeah.
And it's like a
mutual
respect.
Like that,
it's a mutual respect. You have your meeting, and that's really it. But no, training wise, it's sort of you have a chat with the lads and you think, right, we'll start doing it. Could be as early as now, really, just to get ready for next year. But you tend to have a little bit of time off, a little bit of a break. You maybe have a bit of a meeting after, and just get. And the good thing is getting together with the lads that you don't normally see on a daily basis. So getting with them and people that you're playing in the hub with, you don't really see. So it'd be good to.
There could be people that you went to school with, grew up with. You know what I mean? So played in other sports with, but as you get a bit older, those things drop off. So I actually think if there's more towns, cities in the UK, it is really a town thing. It's a small town thing, but that had this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that would be better. I actually feel like there would be better towns for it.
Possibly, but I wouldn't. I don't think I like that.
No,
because it'd be too common then. The thing about
I'm not saying I'm not saying it will be the same game, but I'm just talking about the concept of something that the town enthralls itself in.
Yeah,
that it really submits to. I mean, even the school holiday gets. It's around. It's Easter. Sorry, not Easter. It's
half term.
It's half term. Yeah, they pushed that back in schools in the area because it's a big event.
Well, they have goal scorers and the committee go to schools in Ashbourne and they do it every year, and it's amazing just to give them the knowledge, even at the ages of 5, 6, up until 14, 15, and they give them the knowledge of what the game's about and how much it means to Ashbourne. And my lad's he's coming up to 6 and he loves it. He knows he's a downard, and we always have a bit of even of like football, we always have a bit of a tackle. He knows what it's all about, and he's coming up to 6, so it's something you don't force them into it, but you give them that knowledge of this is what I do and this is what the town does, and you can see it means a lot.
And that's the cool thing, isn't it? It's like you pass it on to your kids and they pass it on to theirs. And people have been doing that for like at least 900 years, and they will continue to. It's like interesting that it will continue to happen. But I think that when a town or a community of people gets together on such a scale behind something as it does for Shrovetide, it can only be a really positive result for the town. Because they when you get a lot of people working together towards the same cause or goals, usually you get a good outcome. It depends what the intention is, but and I think it's a mental, quintessentially crazy English thing that you probably wouldn't get in other towns. It's akin to the whole and I don't know what town does this, but there's the cheese rolling thing down the hill.
Yeah,
that's I understand there's a few towns that have tried to imitate the whole Shrovetide thing, but you know, you can't get better than the original, can you? But it's, you know, there's a few things that go on like that, and there's something actually in Italy they do called the tomato. Excuse me if I get this wrong. Like the tomato or the rotten tomato festival, where they basically have a huge food fight with leftover tomatoes from the harvest.
Yeah.
So there's things like this around the world, but I think they're really good. I think there should be more of them.
And like you say, it doesn't matter how crazy they are.
No.
The community spirit is on a massive high.
Yeah.
So it's the same in Ashbourne with Shrovetide.
And it must bring revenue to the town, I think, as well.
Well, you won't get better business for pubs than Shrovetide.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
people need to
absolutely.
stay over.
Yeah.
People need fed.
Yeah, so you
People need fed, water, and somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
And I bet, you know, people were very, in a small town like Ashbourne, hungry for it to come back because they knew that. I didn't even think about that. Like the way it probably contributes to the town, you know, and the money that people earn.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Especially
really
with COVID, it had a knock-on effect on everyone.
Mm.
So shops, pubs, you know, food outlets.
But I mean, like most towns are like, you know, their bumper season is the height of summer when people come to visit and stay nearby. Christmas as well is guaranteed. But for Ashbourne, there's somewhere in the middle of that, which is Shrovetide as well.
Shrovetide for the revenue, what they gain.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
Yeah. It is. So if you're in the area, people, around the start of March at any year forthcoming, get involved, get amongst it, come down, see what it's all about, stay the night, stay a couple of nights. I know I'll be back again. It was good fun. And yeah, man, thank you educating me about it. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it. And I hope all you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something, because I certainly have here. And Froggy remembered who won in 2020, so he's learned something too. Nice one, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one, whenever that is. And in the meantime, stay healthy, stay happy,